Hello, fourth year students. Today's lecture is another poem by the English poet Philip Larkin, which is entitled Church Going. So, we already discussed when we were analyzing and talking about At Grass, the previous poem, we mentioned that Philip Larkin is considered to be one of the English poets who reflected actually the atmosphere in society after war, the time period which directly comes after war. We are talking about the Second World War. So, what kind of, let's say, atmosphere, feelings, let's say, even the reactions that people had after war, all these things were the interest, not only, of course, Philip Larkin, but most of the poets in that time period were mainly interested in reflecting this general atmosphere in society. So, Church Going is also one of these poems, actually, by Philip Larkin, which also shows us kind of a glimpse of what? Of course, just the title is clear enough to tell us that it is about religion, church going. So, what about religion in this time period after war? What happened to people's belief in religion? So, church going, and before we start with the poem itself, let's have an idea about general things about the poem. So, it was published in the volume Less Deceived, the same volume that we saw in the previous poem At Grass, in 1955. So, it is also, we are talking about the same time period, the same era, which we call the aftermath of war. One of the most famous poems by Larkin. So, actually, it is something that Larkin himself also comments about. He said that maybe one of the reasons that this, let's say, this poem is famous is that religion is something really crucial in people's life, and specifically the loss of religion. You see, because it is something that actually has a great importance for people. The speaker casually visits an empty church. So, what is it about in general? Generally speaking, the poem tell us about this speaker who was passing by a church and he goes inside. It is an empty church. Okay, and meditates over the state of the building and religion. So he starts looking around in the building and he describes things inside the church, and then he reflects upon religion. He connects what he sees or the kind of feelings and reflections that comes to him. He tries to let's say interpret through them the situation of religion, the state of religion in society. So the post-war English society witnessed a decline in religious faith. Of course, when you are talking about war, the atrocities of war, the horrors of war, things that people who witness such things come out of them losing their faith in religion, because they see that even the religious values, these things that we believe in, that should actually make people love each other, be merciful to each other, create peace among people, all these things actually fail in front of all the killings and suffering and the kind of horrors that happen in war. So it makes people lose faith in religion. It causes a decline in religious faith. Larkin himself was known to be agnostic, and here I need to clarify something. If you go and read other sources about Larkin, you will see that some say that Larkin was an atheist. تعرفون انتو هاي المصطلحات. atheist معناها ملحد. agnostic معناها لا أدري، اللا أدرية يسموهم، اللي هو أي تساؤل وجودي أو ديني هو جواب عنه لا أدري، I don't know، agnostic. وهو عكس يعني مو عكس، خلينا نقول يختلف عن الملحد. الملحد هو الشخص الذي لا يؤمن بالإله. And there is also another word which is skeptic، المشكك. Someone who keeps doubting everything. He doesn't have any let's say solid ground for any kind of beliefs. The skeptic. فالبعض هسه من إذا تقرأ في مواقع أو أي مصادر أخرى عن لاركن راح تشوف أنه مرة يقولون عليه أثيست، مرة يقولون عليه أجنوستيك، مرة يقولون عليه skeptic. So maybe he's just fluctuating between these three states. But here I'm telling you that he's agnostic because I believe that he's closer to being agnostic according to my reading to this poem. Okay. يعني هو نوعا ما أقرب إلى اللا أدرية أكثر مما هو مثل خلينا نقول للإلحاد أو للتشكيك. هسه إذا نقرأ القصيدة ممكن هذا الشيء يتوضح أكثر. So let's see what is this poem is all about. Once I am sure there is nothing going on, I step inside, letting the door thud shut. So this is something typical about Larkin, that he starts with something very usual, okay, very familiar, very ordinary experience from the daily life, and then he later on moves to something general about this experience. So what is this normal experience? He was passing by a church and he said, once I'm sure there is nothing going on inside, so he makes sure before going inside the church, he makes sure that there is nobody inside. It's empty, okay? As if it is a condition. If there is anyone inside, he's not going in. Okay? يعني يحاول إنه شنو يدخل الكنيسة وهي فارغة. Why? Why would he need to go inside when it's empty? I mean, why specifically choosing to go inside when the church is empty? We are going to see. Letting the door thud shut. So he's not closing the door with his hand. No, he leaves it to be shut. يعني شلون نقول احنا يفتح الباب وبعدين هيك يعني يتركها تنسد وحدها. And you know, when he does this, it produces a sound. And actually it may shows that, you see, it is not a sign of respect here. When you go inside somewhere, you don't just casually leave the door to be shut by itself. You should hold the door and you close it, because you respect the place, you respect the building you are going inside. But our speaker chooses what? To let the door be shut by itself. يعني يعوف الباب هي واحدة تنسد. هاي ممكن تكون علامة شنو؟ يعني نوعا ما قلة احترام للمكان. So as it is noted in Larkin's poems, he starts with some familiar ordinary experience, then meditates over the general significance. Sometimes the usual ordinary things in life, we don't look behind them. We don't look behind their significance. But Larkin, what does he do? He usually wants to show us that there is some kind of meaning behind, some significance. Okay? Another church. Notice this expression. It's very precise indeed. Another church. Matting, seats, and stone. What do we find in churches? He's describing now things that are found in any church, any other church. If you go around, you see other churches, you are going to also see that they are equipped with the same things: matting, seats, and stone. Okay, but here, why he's saying another church? Actually, he's trying to show us that he's not really interested. It is just a church, just like any other church. You see churches everywhere. Okay, يعني شو نقول كنيسة من هالكنائس، يعني as if he's trying to communicate to us that he's not interested in this place. Just another church, just like any other church. You see, يعني تحسون اكو نوع من السخرية, cynicism. Okay, so as if he is bored. لاحظوا هاي العبارة هنا, another church. As if he is bored or expecting the same as all churches now look to be out of his interest. يعني من تشير إلى شيء وتحاول بنبرة الكلام تبين إنه أنت ما مهتم. You are not interested. What else do we find inside the church? And little books, sprawlings of flowers, cut for Sunday. You know, in Christianity, they have this Sunday service. عندهم قداس, service قداس, مو خدمة, مترجموها خدمة. قداس يوم الأحد. Sunday service, and there are flowers brought in such services. What happened to these flowers? Brownish now. Maybe some, let's say, some previous days ago, uh, people were here in this church. They have brought flowers in the service, and after leaving, they left the flowers there, and now they are turning brown, decaying. تعرفون هاي الورد الحقيقي ايش قد يعيش؟ ما يعيش هواي، يعني يتحول لونه إلى بني، يفقد لونه. See? So here, if you just also notice the way the lines are written here, look at the punctuation here. Punctuation. Here we have سجورز. تعرفون سجورة؟ احنا بالشعر ما نقول كما على الفارزة، ما نقول كما، نقول سجورة، لأن هاي وقفة يسموها وقفة شعرية. Okay, سجورة. So here we have, notice how many. Why? Because he's trying to show us what is inside. He's telling us يعني دا يعدد هنا. He's enumerating what he sees inside. It is just like a camera, as if he's holding a camera and he's showing us all the items inside. يراوينا الكنيسة من الداخل. Okay? What else? Some brass and stuff. Stuff. شوفوا استخدام الكلمات. Stuff sometimes uses words that are very specific to the context, which is church. Other times he's using modern words. Stuff يعني بعض الأشياء. You see? So he's trying to mix two things, two styles, two words, word choices. So you notice, no, I want you to notice this in the language of the poem, that sometimes he uses words that are carefully chosen. There is a very important diction here that is related to church and religion. And in other times, what does he do? He uses words and expressions that you see are closer to the expressions of the modern days, modern people in modern societies. Okay? So up at the holy end, the small neat organ, and a tense, musty, unignorable silence. What does it feel like inside? Or what kind of feeling you might have when you look around? According to him, you feel what? Tense? Something like, you see, unease, يعني بتشي مثل جو مشدود، يعني uncomfortable. See? Musty, unignorable silence. Stale smelling, distracting silence. Actually, when you go to such places that specifically here we are talking about buildings that are old. يعني churches actually are considered to be places that or let's say buildings, once they are built, they stay for a very very long time. Why? Because they are religious buildings. يعني تعرفون انتم المباني الدينية يعني مو مثل المباني العادية. المباني العادية ممكن مثلا واحد يبني له بناية، خلينا نقول يسويها شركة، يسويها مسكن، يسويها وبعدين يدمرها مثلا أو يبني شيء ثاني مكانها. This is not true about religious buildings. Okay, you cannot destroy a religious building easily just like this, because these buildings have a great significance and let's say value. Okay, so these religious buildings are very old and they have this kind of smell of old buildings. You see, stale. Okay, and since there are no people around, he has chosen to go inside when it's empty, so it is silence everywhere. Okay, and the smell is disturbing the silence. The only thing that disturbs the silence inside the church is the smell. This is smell that he's smelling around. Okay, so what else? Brood. هاي شنو معناها الكلمة brood? God knows how long. يعني الله أعلم نش وقت هاي الكنيسة. Brood. Here the word brood means something that has taken a very long time to be cooked or to be ready. يعني يختمر. يعني بشوف الوصف طبعا هنا بيه نوع من السخرية. Okay, and notice when he mentioned brood in the beginning of the line, and then after that directly God knows how long. See, brood, God knows how long. Actually, he's disrespecting the place and disrespecting even God. Hatless. I take off my cycle clips in awkward reverence. Hatless. He's not wearing a hat. And you know, if you are, for example, in a place or if you are greeting someone, you take your hat off, right? يعني هاي علامة تحية أو احترام إنه تنزع القبعة. He's not wearing a hat. So what does he do? I take off my cycle clips. He was cycling when he arrived to this church. So the cycle clips he's wearing in his on his leg. هاي أكفت شيء يلبسوه بالرجل على مود يحمي الرجل. فشي يسوي بما انه ما لابس قبعة فشي يسوي ينزع هذا الكليبس a sign of respect. Okay, in awkward reverence. Reverence means respect. واحنا بالعربي نقول إجلال. But why is it awkward? Why is it awkward? Because actually the speaker seems to be partially respecting the place, but at the same time he feels that he doesn't want to. There's this contrast in the contradiction, let's say, inside him about this place. Sometimes he makes fun or he's cynical about the church. Other times what? He wants to show respect, but still he's not really feeling it. Okay, the speaker is not sure about his feelings towards the church. He's fluctuating. يتأرجح يعني. Move forward. Run my hand around the front. So now he decides to go deeper now inside the church, and he wants to touch things. لحظة هسه راح يدخل لنا بعض الأمور. Run my hand. My hand means what? He's now trying to touch the things around. He touches the stones, the font. Okay, the font of water. هاي مكان الماء. See, as if trying to be affected by the place through contact. So when he was moving around, he felt that actually he wasn't really affected. Why not try touching? مو شو اسمه واحد يروح المكانات هاي الآثار أو الأماكن القديمة you feel that you want to touch them. Okay, because it makes things seem even more real to you if you touch them. Okay, maybe this is the thing that he's trying to do here. Run my hand around the font. From where I stand, the roof looks almost new. Cleaned or restored? Someone would know. I don't. So he's trying to find something to arouse his interest. He looks up, and what does he see? He sees the roof, and it looks new. يعني رغم ما هي كنيسة قد تكون قديمة ولكن السطح يباع عليه يشوف انه سوري السقف يشوفه بين جديد يعني. Why is it new? Someone cleaned it? Or maybe someone restored it? I don't know. Someone else would know. Why? Why someone would know but he doesn't? Why why he's wants to make sure, why he wants to make sure that that we know that other people know about the church more than he knows, because he's trying to tell us, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Maybe someone else would be really interested and they are going to tell you, but not me. Okay, it is this kind of cynical tone. هذا النبرة الاستهزائية نوعا ما. Okay, so maybe there is still someone who cares about this place. Maybe there is someone who really still care to come to the church and to renew it, to repair things inside it. But of course, this person is not me. Okay? Mounting the lectern. The lectern is a place where you put the book. If you are standing, if you are holding a book and you want to read from it, you are standing in a place, you have this lectern. يعني هاي مثل القاعدة تخلي عليها الكتاب أو طبعا هو بالنسبة للكتاب المقدس, and you read. I peruse a few hectoring large-scale verses and pronounce here endeth. شنو هاي العبارة here endeth. Actually he stands there and he starts to read as if he is reading from the Bible verses. He starts to read, peruse, let's say, or recite. نقول نستخدم هاي الكلمات. And it is known that after the let's say the priest ends the sermon, what does he say? Here endeth. يعني هاي عبارة تنهي القداس أو تنهي القراءة. مو يقرأ هذا الكاهن نهايته يقول here endeth. So what does he do as he's reading, and then when he reaches to this expression, what does he do? Much more loudly than I'd meant. He reads it aloud. يتعمد يقرأها بصوت عالي. What happens? The echoes snigger briefly. The echoes, because the place is empty and it is a very wide place, so once he has said this expression loudly, okay, it echoes around. How does he feel about the echoes? يعني صار اكو صدى, بس الصدى هو شلون حس بيه؟ snigger, as if it is laughing on him. Okay, it goes back to him and laughing. You are reading, you are not interested. Didn't you say that you are not interested? Okay, so he even reads some verses of the Bible, and when finished he say here endeth in a loud voice that resonates in the place. The resonance makes him feel that he is being mocked by himself. كأنه يعني الصدى حسسه بالسخرية, انه اكو كأنما هذا الصوت دا يرجع له, دا يسخر منه, انه انت اصلا ما عندك اهتمام بهذا المكان ولا بما يرمز الى هذا المكان. See? Back at the door I signed the book, donate an Irish sixpence, reflect the place was not worth stopping for. Okay, so what does he do in the end after walking around doing all these things, clowning, يعني كأنما هو دا يهرج, يعني نوع من التهريج, going inside the church and playing around like this. And what does he do in the end when he's leaving? He signed the book. اكو هيك كتاب مال زائرين يعني يوقع عليه. Donate an Irish sixpence. He even donated money for the church. How come you are not interested and you are donating money? See? Reflect the place was not worth stopping for. So after leaving, he thinks that it wasn't. نصحح لكم إياها. It wasn't worth stopping by. Doesn't deserve his time to be wasted in this place. ما يستحق هذا المكان يعني. He pretends an indifference. Pretends. Why we would say that he pretends? يدعي. ليش يدعي? Because actually he does things that show respect, but he says that he doesn't care, or he's not interested, or he makes us feel that he's irreligious. How come he has these two different contradictory feelings at the same time? So he pretends an indifference that he does not feel. He doesn't feel. Maybe he's just saying that he doesn't care, but he cares. Okay? Yet stop I did. هسه هو يقول لنا yet stop I did. So it is not worth stopping, but what does he do? He did stop. Okay? In fact, I often do. This is not the first time. Actually, if you read some material about this poem, you will see that in an interview, Larkin says that he has this habit of, as he's cycling, whenever he passes by a church, he would stop and go inside. هو يعني قايل هذا الشيء بمقابلة انه هو عنده هاي العادة. مو يفتر بالبايسكل مالته، فمن يشوف اي كنيسة لازم يوقف ويدخل بيها. You see? So what kind of irreligious person he is, or agnostic, and always end much at a loss like this. I always do this. I always go inside churches and I always come out feeling lost, just like what happened now. I always have the same experience. The church fails to make me feel spiritually connected. Okay? Wondering, and there are these questions that come to his mind as he is leaving, wondering what to look for. Wondering too, when churches fall completely out of use, what we shall turn them into, if we shall keep a few cathedrals chronically on show. What does this mean, that churches fall completely out of use? Actually, he believes that people have left religion to the point that churches are going to be abandoned. And once they are abandoned, how a church is, or how can we say that a church falls? احنا هسه قبل شوي قلنا الكنائس والأبنية الدينية ما تهدم، الناس ما يهدموها، بس بنفس الوقت إذا حتى لو ما تهدم يعني باليد، you're destroying a religious place. How? By not going there. Just the act of not going there makes this place abandoned and almost destroyed. Okay? So what if they fall completely out of use? What if people leave religion? What will happen to the churches? Okay, إذا الناس كلها تركت الدين، زين هاي الأبنية الدينية الكنائس شنو فائدتها؟ What are you going to use them for? If we shall keep a few cathedrals chronically on show, maybe we will keep them just like buildings for people to visit, to look at them, just looking at them. يعني يصير كأنما مبنى يزورون الناس بس لمجرد الفرجة يعني. Their parchment, plate and pics in locked cases, maybe we're going to turn them to something like a museum, and all these things inside them will be placed in such locked cases in order for people to look at them. شلون المتحف، شلون هاي الأشياء القديمة اللي تبقى تصير مجرد تحفيات تنعرض يعني. Okay, are we going to have churches for this only? And let the rest rent free to rain and sheep? Shall we avoid them as unlucky places? Okay? Will they be considered unlucky places that you are going to avoid in order not to be, let's say, not to be damned by them؟ يعني شوف إلى أي حد هو يريد يصور إنه إلى أي حد أكو نفور راح يصير من الدين ومن الكنيسة, to the point that we are not going to visit these places because we feel that they bring us bad luck. Or after dark, will dubious women come to make their children touch a particular stone? Or is it going to be a place which is visited in darkness by some kind of women who think that if they touch, or their children touch the place, they are going to be, for example, healed or blessed? Here he's talking about superstitions, kind of beliefs that also, according to what he thinks, are similar to religious faith. Okay? Pick simples for a cancer, or maybe they feel that the plants that grow around the church are or they have some kind of power or ability to heal people from diseases like cancer. Or on some advised night see walking a dead one. Okay, so in this stanza he imagines the churches becoming places of superstition. Women bring their kids to touch a stone for good luck, or pick some herbs, or come to see a ghost. Is it all that the churches are going to be for? Power of some sort or other will go on in games, in riddles, seemingly at random. Okay, is it going to be, notice here, the power of the churches will endure in some form that even if people stop going to churches, okay, um, these churches may still be influential, but not in the same way that they used to be. Maybe in some other way. Some other way, like superstitions, maybe riddles, maybe games. Okay, things that doesn't belong to religion anymore. يعني صار تأثيرها أشبه بتأثير الخرافات والأساطير، بس مو ذاك التأثير اللي كان سابق موجود يعني. But superstition, like belief, must die, and what remains when disbelief has gone? Grass, weedy pavement, brambles, buttress, sky. A shape less recognizable each week. So even superstitions at some point is going to disappear, just like religion. تمام؟ يعني حتى لو خلينا نقول اختفى الدين من حياة الناس وإجت الخرافة مثلا، حتى الخرافة في وقت ما تنتهي. What remains when disbelief has gone? Why there is, I mean, religion, what does it do? What's the main role of religion? To fight what? Fight disbelief. What if disbelief has gone? We don't have any disbelief in society. So in this case, churches are needless. Okay? Disbelief is the reason there are churches. So if there is no disbelief, these churches will turn into abandoned places overgrown with nature. لاحظوا من يقول هنا grass, weedy pavement, brambles, buttress, sky, all these kind of things are going to dominate over these places. شايفين من اكو فد بناء مثلا متروك، شو يصير اذا اكو طبيعة شوي قريبة من اشجار او نباتات؟ they overgrow، يعني تنمو على الحيطان، تنمو داخله. You see, when you see a building like this, it means that there are no human beings attending this place. This is a sign of a deserted place. الطبيعة هي تسيطر، هي تدخل بالمكان يعني تنتشر. A shape less recognizable each week. Actually, it becomes really difficult now to recognize a church just by looking. I mean, churches are of course are recognizable، يعني كبناء هو الكنيسة مبينة، بس إذا غطتها الطبيعة والأعشاب أو النباتات it grows unrecognizable. What? Time after time. Purpose more obscure. What about their purpose? Even their purpose, why they are standing there if they are not used anymore as a place of worship? Okay. I wonder who will be the last, the very last, to seek this place for what it was. Who's this person? Who is this person, the last one, who still thinks or believes that religion is found or could be found in a church? Who's this person? What kind of people are they? Are there any people like this anymore? Okay. One of the crew that tap and jot and know what rude lofts were? What kind of people are they? For example, the people who are interested in the history of the building. لاحظوا هاي التعابير من يقول tap and jot، يعني يجي يتفحص المكان. jot يكتب، يعني يقعد يكتب مثلا ملاحظات عن هاي البناء، how old it is, what are the kind of things or material that it was built from. Okay. rood lofts، هاي الصلبان مثلا من شنو مصنوعة، شنو خلينا نقول تاريخها. or some ruin bibber، someone who's a ruins enthusiast. هذول اللي يحبون الآثار. اوكي، اللي يحبون الآثار أو الأماكن القديمة. Randy for antique. Maybe he's interested in the objects inside the church. من هو مثلا هذا النوع من الأشخاص اللي يحبون التحفيات، يحبون الأشياء القديمة. فيجي يدخل الكنيسة. Is he the last one who's going to visit? Or Christmas addict, maybe someone who still believes in Christmas or loves Christmas, counting on a whiff of gown and bands and organ pipes and myrrh. okay يعني هل هو شخص بعد عنده هذا الاعتقاد الديني تعرفون الكريسماس يعتبر مناسبة دينية مسيحية مهمة يعني. Or will he be my representative? Maybe someone like me is going to visit this place like him. And what is he like? يعني شنو يشبهه هو؟ شنو يميزه هو هسه هذا اللي يحكي؟ Bored, uninformed, knowing the ghostly silt dispersed, yet tending to this cross of ground through suburb scrub. Okay? So how does he describe himself? Or someone like him who is going in the future visit this place, bored, يعني يشعر بالملل, uninformed, ignorant. He was trying to show us from the beginning that he's ignorant about the church, or what does it mean, or what is the purpose of the church. Okay, is he going to tend to this cross of ground? Cross of ground, why he's using this expression? Because we all know that churches are built in the shape of the cross. عادة الكنائس تبنى على شكل صليب. Through suburb scrub, he's going to come to the church, and the church, where is it located? It is located in the suburb, and if you want to go there, you are going to walk through some kind of scrub. Scrub هي هاي شايفين هاي النباتات اللي احنا قلنا تنمو، بس وين تنمو؟ مثلا خلينا نقول بالأطراف. هسه إذا هي مدينة بالضواحي مالتها السبرب، تلقون ممكن انه تنمو بعض الانواع من الاعشاب او النباتات. So if you want to go to the church, you should find your way through such plants, scrub. Okay? And this is actually a characteristic of the suburbs. This is a characteristic, and the suburbs themselves actually is one of the features of modernism. So you see المدن الحديثة من المميزات اللي بيها شنو؟ الضواحي. نشوء شيء اسمه الضواحي, suburbs, and the life in the suburbs. Because it held unspilled so long and equably, what sense is found only in separation? So someone like me, maybe ignorant about this place, would come inside, would find his way to come to this place, which was for a very long time holding things like what? Marriage and birth and death and thoughts of these. For whom was built this special shell? يعني what happens inside the church? What kind of events? What kind of services? Marriage, تعرفون هم عندهم المسيحية وين يصير الزواج؟ بالكنيسة. الولادة مثلا من يولد طفل يعمدوه. When a child is baptized, where? In the church. And also the funeral, when it is brought in the church. So actually we are talking about major life events, important hallmarks and milestones in anyone's life. هاي أحداث الحياة المهمة الكبيرة. خلينا نقول الأساسية بالنسبة للإنسان: الولادة والزواج والموت. كلها وين تصير؟ Where does it all happen? In church. This place that he was making fun of, he was trying to show disrespect towards. It is the place that holds the most important things in life, right? The church stood there for a very long time without being destroyed. It held life's milestones: birth, marriage, and death. So at least just even يعني حتى لو بس هاي الفقرة، يعني هاي الفكرة تخلي شنو؟ تخلي انه الكنيسة لازم يكون لها فد قيمة معينة. If you look at this here expression, even if it is now deserted, even if it is isolated, we should not think of it as something meaningless. On the contrary, we should think of it as some place which holds meaning. Why? Because it holds these important things in man's life. For though I've no idea what this accoutred frosty barn is worth, it pleases me to stand in silence here. Okay, here it is very clear that the speaker, although he feels doubted about this place, even if he feels that he's asking questions and he's not finding any answers to them, he can't find any meaning or purpose, but still there has to be something meaningful about this place. Okay, it is totally different from what he was talking about in the beginning. He is pleased just by this mere standing in silence there. He likes it. He likes to do this. That's why he keeps visiting churches just to stand there in silence, even if he doesn't actually go there for worshipping. يعني هو ما يروح للعبادة، بس يحب يوقف بالكنيسة بداخل الكنيسة ويستمتع بالهدوء الصمت. A serious house on serious earth it is. Notice here, a serious house. He's not condemning the church here. Serious, actually serious has some kind of religious meaning. Okay? It was used in religion before as meaning something holy. A serious house on serious earth it is, in whose blent air all our compulsions meet. Okay? Actually, we are very connected to such places, religious places, more than we think. Are recognized and robbed as destinies. Okay, robbed as destinies. Destinies يعني شنو؟ أقدار، قدر الإنسان، أشياء اللي هي متعلقة بقدر الإنسان، حياته. They are all connected to the church. And that much never can be obsolete, since someone will forever be surprising a hunger in himself to be more serious. Actually, even if we stop going to churches, this is what I'm trying to tell you what he's trying to say here. Even if we stop going to churches, even if we stop believing in religion, okay, still there is a hunger in himself. Each one of us feels inside that what? He wants something serious, something holy, something beyond this mere existence. يعني هاي في حاجة عند الإنسان، حتى لو ما يروح الكنيسة، حتى لو فقد إيمانه بالدين، يبقى عنده فد شنو؟ رغبة دائما، نزوع، ميل، kind of disposition towards what? Towards something meaningful, something more serious. And gravitating with it to this ground, it leads him where? It takes him to the church. Even if he is going there not to worship, not to attend a sermon or a service, but just going there in order to answer to this kind of feeling inside him. يعني هو يروح الكنيسة حتى لو هو مثلا خلينا نقول ما يريد يؤدي هاي الشعائر الدينية، ما مؤمن بيها، ولكن اكو شيء بداخله يقول هذا الشيء داخل كل إنسان. It is not just for him, it is in all people, inside all human beings. What is this thing? It is a craving for what? For meaning, for values. إنسان ما يقدر يعيش بدون معنى، لازم يخلق معنى للأشياء، يخلق معنى لحياته. حتى لو هو يفقد إيمانه بالدين المعروف، خلينا نقول بالنسبة للشاعر هو المسيحية، حتى لو يفقد إيمانه ولكن يبقى في داخله شيء آخر موجود. Still. Why? Because it is part of the human's nature. You see? Which he once heard was proper to grow wise in. And coming to the church can help him what? Keep and restore this thing inside him. هاي ممكن تكون فائدة للكنيسة. That if you come here, look around at this building which has stood for a very, very long time, which has held man's destiny, his major life events, And at the same time, if you look around the graves, تعرفون هناك الكنائس أيضا عندهم بيها مقابر. لاحظوا من يقول هنا if only that so many dead lie around. Just by looking at this place, coming to this place, he's going to understand. He's going to be wiser. He's going to evoke in himself that kind of feeling that he has. So, what are main ideas or themes that the poet was trying to communicate to us? The desire for solitary contemplation and the desire for belonging. These two feelings, we actually feel that Larkin is trying to show in his poem. At some point, he doesn't want to go inside the church when there are people inside. ينتظر شو وقت تفرغ يلا يدخل. Why? Because he wants to be alone and contemplate, solitary contemplation. But at the same time, he desires to belong to the church and the community of the church, because we know that church is a place which what gathers people. The speaker doesn't want to join a church, but he finds churches productive sites for thinking about what unites all people. يعني هو ما يريد يكون فعلا منتمي أو يدخل كنيسة من باب أنه هو مثل كل الناس للعبادة. يعني he doesn't want to let's say to be part of the churches for what they are in real, but still he thinks that churches can be a good place for uniting people, for gathering them. Okay, he believes that this impulse toward connection will survive organized religion. Okay, يعني بالنتيجة يقول لك أكو فد يعني فائدة أو فد ممكن شيء نستفاد خلينا نقول من الكنيسة نقدر نحصل عليه يعني. See, so there is this kind of thing that we can keep in people in society by the act of what? Going to the church, even if we are not going for any kind of religious purpose. Although the poem opens with cynicism, سخرية, about churches and their religious significance, the final stanzas expand into more thoughtful and meditative tone. In the beginning, we felt that the poet was just like laughing at the church, going inside, playing around, not respecting the place. But gradually, when we come to the final stanzas, we find that this changed. The tone changes into some kind of thoughtful meditation, contemplation, يعني نوع من التأمل, which reflects an integrity and hunger to what makes life serious and meaningful, even if the churches disappear at any time in the future. هسه نحكي هو دا يحكي بالمستقبل, يحكي يحكي بمنتصف الخمسينات ويتكهن بالمستقبل شنو مستقبل الدين. يعني it is basically a human nature to yearn for some metaphysical presence. So no matter how much human beings try to avoid or to remove this kind of things metaphysical, يعني الأشياء الروحية اللي هي بعيدة عن المادة, لكن يبقى يعني قد ما هو تأثير الحداثة على الإنسان, لكن يبقى what there is still some kind of inclination towards such things. So this was all about church going. Hope to see you in other videos very soon. Thank you.